You don't want to hear that. You really don't want to hear that. Leave that to Carla and Lex, who've got a voice, not me.
That's how we started. Everyone's wondering what you're leaving to Carla and Lex.
Yeah, we talk about Heather singing. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon to this rather select gathering of Seller Ladies Live, which is everybody's busy. Oh God, I've got my bloody muted it. Select gathering of Seller Ladies Live, which hang on, I've muted mine. Whose is that?
Not me.
Might be me.
Oh, Heather.
Crack me now. Crack
That was
me
a
now.
cracking start, wasn't it? I started so well. Yes, it's just the four of us today because it's the beginning of the school holidays and everybody else is busy and doing stuff, and Carla's with her parents and Lex isn't feeling very well, and so it's just us. So today it is me and Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hello. Messing up
Kelly.
your team.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Kelly.
Hiya.
And Andrea.
Hello.
And today we are talking about how we got started in reselling, sort of loosely talking about how we got started in reselling. It was suggested to you, Andrea, I think, as a topic, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, by somebody on Instagram, who's Magic Money Magnet on Instagram. Yeah, thought it was a good topic.
Excellent. Yes, I think it will be. Actually, it's quite interesting to me as well because I don't know how Kelly got started. So shall we say hello in the chat first and then get into it? So first two people in the chat are Kelly and Heather. That's funny. And Kirsten's here. Hi, Kirsten. And Gemma Lou and Lainey and Gary and Caroline D and Darren K. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. I know that a lot of my viewers now are probably eBay type people. I've got feedback coming to me. Can you hear like two versions of me?
No.
No, it's just me then. I can hear two versions of myself. Oh, lucky, lucky me. Morning, Bumblebee, or is it afternoon now? I think it's afternoon now. And maybe it's morning where you are. I don't know where Bumblebee is. And Dawn, yeah, sorry, I was saying that a lot of my viewers, I think, are not probably reselling related now. So for those who don't know what I do, I sell on eBay full time, and all the ladies that I'm talking to today do the same, and that's what we're talking about today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how we got started in reselling. So Kelly, can I start with you, please? Oh God, I sound like a bad game show host.
Yeah, it's in my family, Caroline. And they've both got house clearances businesses. So I had a jump out when I was 17, and I used to help him out in there. So that's how I first got into reselling, really.
I'm losing Kelly. Is anybody else losing her?
It's a little quiet.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Yeah, I'm losing myself. I'm going to try and come back in on my laptop.
Okay.
Okay.
So shall I go to Heather then next?
Okay. Well, I'd always bought things from eBay, particularly when I had my son, and I wanted slightly more interesting baby clothes than the usual sludge brown or just bland pale blue that you seem to be able to get for kids, because I like bright colours like red and green and things where you can actually spot your toddler when he's trying to make a run for freedom. So I used to order things like bundles and stuff for him, and then obviously I ended up reselling things that I not used. And then I started selling bits of furniture because we downsized, because we moved from a big house to a somewhat small house. That was a number of years ago. We're talking about sort of 8-9 years ago. I realised then that there's a good game in this. You know, it's kind of like there's a good thing here. And I just started selling my own bits and pieces, clothes and stuff that I didn't want anymore. And then it took a while before I started buying things deliberately to sell, but it was furniture. Which is daft when you see the size of my house. It's a bloody silly thing to start with. I had chairs everywhere because I really had a thing for certain style of chairs and dining chairs. So I bought them and started selling them off, sometimes on Gumtree and sometimes on eBay. And that was really the beginning of it, because I could see the potential of, actually, if I could do this right, I could make some money doing this. So that's really where I began. It wasn't clothes at all. That was a happy sort of accident along the way.
And what about you, Andrea? Can you remember that far back?
Yeah, and I think it's a story that everybody probably knows inside out, back to front now. Well, Nick started doing it as kind of a hobby. He was buying and selling Game and Watches. We were going to boot sales pretty much every week. And then we started to pick up CDs and media and that sort of thing, and things that just interested us, and doing it as a hobby. And eventually, like Heather, realised, oh, we can make some money here. And I remember being at my nan's kitchen table packaging things, and she was like, oh, got a little business going on here. And it kind of put the seed of thought into us that we could do something like this. So we built it up, and eventually got to a point where we gave up our jobs and just went full time with it. And that's how it started, really, just going to boot sales, picking up stuff that we liked, and realising we could make some money on it.
And how long ago was that, Andrea, that you started?
This was way before Ellen, so I think it started maybe 99, so 2000 maybe, yeah, so 19 years ago.
Wow, time goes, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, flies.
Kelly, you're back again. We can see you now.
Oh, can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you, and you're moving as well. You're not just frozen in time, so that's good. But I couldn't hear a lot of what you said to start with, so can I go back to you to tell us again how you started?
Yeah, I've got two, well, reselling's in my family. I've got two brothers who have house clearance businesses. And one of my brothers had a junk shop. When I was 17, I worked with him in his junk shop for a while. So that's when I first came into reselling. Yeah, that's quite a while ago. I can't even work out how long ago it was. I'm 43, so I'll let you do the maths.
I'm sure you can't possibly be 43. You're only 33, Kelly.
I wish.
My story was pretty similar to Heather's, really. I started buying bits and pieces on eBay for my son when he was little, and then realising that I had all these bits and pieces of his that he didn't need anymore that were nearly new, and started selling those. So that was probably back in about 2002 I started, I guess, doing that. And then I started going to boot sales and again, looking for stuff for my son as he was growing up. Baby stuff and toddler stuff is all expensive, isn't it? And their clothes that they only wear for 5 minutes. And so I was buying a lot of stuff secondhand, and then I would see things and think, I could sell that. And that's sort of how I started. It was really like that, and just very slowly at first, bits and pieces, and then it just got more bigger and bigger, I guess. And it got to a stage where I was still working, but it was paying for our sort of holidays and weekends away and stuff, and Christmas and that sort of thing. And so it was very much like a side income that I built up over a period of years. And then I found Nick on YouTube about 5 years ago, I guess. Is it 5 years ago?
About that now.
Yeah. And Joe was reselling for pennies, who was called Joe something else at the time on YouTube, and then Tom. And I realised that people actually did this for a living, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. People do it for an actual job. And that was quite an eye-opener to me, because although I was making quite a nice side income from it, I'd never actually thought about doing it as a job. And it was really seeing them. And then I left a comment on one of Nick's videos, and he pointed me in the direction of the Facebook group, which was really sort of in its infancy at the time, UK Reselling. And I went and found that, and I thought I really could do this as a job. And 4 years ago, I went full-time, 4 years this month, actually. And I've never looked back, really. So, yeah.
Sorry, I obviously missed a little bit. Did you all start online then? On eBay?
Yeah.
Because I was really late coming to eBay. People kept telling me to sell on eBay, and I was really reluctant to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did, because it's great.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
We did a bit of Amazon as well at the time, because we were picking up CDs, so it's easy to just scan stuff in and stick it on Amazon. It's a lot easier back in those days to sell on Amazon.
Yeah, bloody impossible now, isn't it? I did Gumtree because that was the local, and I had people coming down from London to pick things up, and obviously there was no fees. It's like, yes, doesn't work for small items of clothing, for a sideboard, but there you go.
Yeah, I sold a bit on Gumtree, but not when I first started out. Gumtree didn't even exist then, I don't think. Don't know when Gumtree started, but I sold bigger things on Gumtree. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat at the same time as this. There's a few more people to say hello to. There is, where did I get to? Sue G and Kim Kelly and Antoinette and Katie McNess, who is listening while she's washing up. Good. Glad to hear. Could you come and do mine afterwards? Because I've got quite a big pile in the kitchen. Sue's input, Sue's Piles of Shame, Claire Riley, Dawn Fussinger. I hope I've said that right. Lex is in. How are you feeling, Lex? Are you feeling better now? JD Network. I should know who that is, and I don't.
That's Josh.
It's Josh.
Josh. Was that the Josh you were just talking about?
Yeah,
Josh
that leads perfectly into what you were going to say.
Oh, Josh, I got your bags. Josh is doing these wonderful recycled bags, and I got mine this morning. He sent me a small sample, and they are really nice quality. These are sort of standard clothing size bags, and the thing I was doubly interested in are the clear bags, which I use for clothing because it makes storage so much easier, and I just couldn't get away from using the plastic. It works. And these are really lovely. So, yes, I can highly recommend. Get in touch with Josh if you're interested. Plug over. There you go, Josh.
Sorry, George Ross says, is anybody else's kids off for summer now?
Yes. So.
Mine are all grown up, so they're at work.
Yeah, mine's at work at the quarry.
Ellen's doing some sort of film project, like a dance stroke film project in Stevenage at the moment. So I've just literally got back from taking her to that.
Yeah, no, my son's only 12, so he's not down at the coal face just yet, or the quarry face. But he's got a computing course next week that I paid for him to go on, which is like where they learn to code for 2-dimensional games. Because he's definitely got leanings that way, so that will keep him busy next week. But today he got up at, must be midday, because he hadn't slept last night, like any of us. So yes, it's all quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, I have to say I'm quite grateful for this job that Will's got, because his shifts either start at 6 or 7:30 in the morning, and he's actually been getting up before midday. I hate it when he stays in bed till midday. I'm like, oh God, you're wasting your life. Sue G has just asked, do we sell any collect items? I assume you mean collection only items. She doesn't like that idea. Kelly?
I have done in the past, but it's not something that I do regularly because of the items that I sell. I tend to pick up small postable items. But yeah, I've got to admit, it is a bit worrying when you've got people coming to your house that you don't know. So I can understand why she's reluctant.
Yeah, I agree. People sometimes ask if they can collect things, and if somebody else is here, I will say yes. Generally, if it's something postable, I'll say no, I don't like it. What about you, Andrea? Do you let people come and collect things?
Yeah, I put local collection on it in anything that I sell. So if somebody is local and they want to come and pick it up, that's fine. But it doesn't worry me so much because I've got Nick here as well.
Yeah. What about you, Heather?
I will do it, and so I don't make it a thing because most stuff is postable. But I have had people kind of get in touch and say, "Can I come and collect it?" And I thought, well, yeah, all right, because it is a shame. You really are only just up the road. Or if it's something big that couriers are such a bind and you've got to wait in for them. So actually, it's easier if they come in the evening when my husband's home. I prefer that, but it's not a general rule.
So just going back to the topic, Heather, you didn't tell us how you went sort of from selling your chairs to go to selling full time.
The business. Well, I wanted it to be a sideline because I was a hypnotherapist, as people probably know by now beforehand. So I wanted something I could run alongside that business. But But what happened was I was sort of spending more time on the eBay and less doing hypnotherapy. And I just thought, you know, it's time to retire and move into something else. And I really started full-time. I was part-time for probably a couple of years, to be fair, you know, of learning, because it's a long old process. But it's about 2.5 years ago, actually, just over 2.5 years ago, and I said, right, I'm going full-time as of January 2017 or whatever, 16 or whatever it was. And I just thought, right, I'm going to get my listings up. I'm going to have a shop. I'm going to, you know, do it all that way instead of just bumbling along. But it's now I think it's really, I've found my pace with it. I know what's going on. I don't feel like I'm going to be thrown by anything. Whereas in the first time you get a return, oh my God, you know, every alarm in the house goes off, doesn't it? Or the first time someone contacts you and your heart goes in your mouth, and you go, oh my God, what do they want? It all gets a bit easier and a bit less. Whatever happens, it's not a great disaster. It can be solved. I've sent the wrong thing to the wrong people, done it at GSP, I've mucked up, I've done it all. You know, it's a catalogue of disasters, but there's very few of them in amongst the things that work well.
Yeah, it does get easier, doesn't it, as time goes on, and you get used to, like you say, every single scenario is played out at least once before, so you don't feel like you're getting. I think one of the hardest things for me was getting systems in place, figuring out how to do things the best way, and as my stock grew, you know, just putting the systems in place for finding things and, you know, doing certain things on certain days. And that is still, for me, quite a learning process, I think.
Yeah, I've never been that systemised, so I'm finally having to be, now that I'm up at 1,400 odd listings. I realise I really do need a system, and I can't rely on my memory to point me in the right direction. But it's a struggle because I'm not naturally a very systemy kind of person, so I do what I have to, but I'm still quite free-rangey and random sometimes.
It's kind of nice to be able to be like that, though, isn't it? If that's how you are naturally. I think that's one of the joys of being self-employed. You can, one size doesn't fit all, does it? Everybody can dance to, I want to say dance to their own drum, but I feel like I'm mixing up two metaphors there. Help me out, someone.
Something like that. Dancing to the beat of a different drum or something. Marching to the beat of a different drum, that's the one.
That's the one. Peter Ray's in. Hi, Peter. How are you? That sort of leads us on to when you started out. What did you find the most challenging, and what were your favourite things? I guess that we've sort of answered that in that. What made us start? But was there anything you found particularly challenging when you started? Who wants to answer that first? Andrea?
It was so long ago.
Working with Nick, maybe?
No, actually, that was the best thing, because when we went full time, we just had Ellen. So, you know, that was like the best time of my life. You know, we were all together and just enjoying having this small baby and starting our own business, and it was all just so exciting, and just new beginnings, and all, you know, it felt like a little team, and that, happiest time of my life. So that was the best thing. I don't know, I sort of space maybe, because we lived in a tiny little house, so that was probably the most challenging thing, because we were just storing stuff everywhere. Our living room was like a warehouse. We were storing stuff under beds, you know, on the sideboards in the bedrooms. Yeah, the house was just full, so probably space and storage was the most challenging in the beginning.
What about you, Kelly?
I think with my eBay business, the thing that challenged me was the accounting side of things. To start off with, because I just wasn't clear where I was going. I kind of jumped in with all in one go, opened a shop, decided I was selling on eBay without really thinking through how I was going to keep track of things. But yeah, it's and I was a bit scared of the HMRC and phoning them, and like you do, but actually when you phone them, they're really helpful. So don't let that put you off. But I've got a thing about that sort of thing, them sort of things anyway. I'm not particularly clever in that area. So
Yeah, it can be really quite daunting, can't it?
I
I knew nothing about it at all.
I imagined it to be a lot harder than it actually is. I'd made it up to be this big problem that I've got to overcome, and it's really not that difficult.
Yeah.
When you've got your systems in place. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit we did actually get an accountant in the beginning because we were just a bit overwhelmed with it. But not for long, because once Nick realised, okay, this actually we could do this ourselves. This is not too hard. Once we got our heads around it, we then did it ourselves. But in the very beginning, we did get the advice from an accountant.
Yeah, I did the same. And one of the most useful things I found about getting advice from an accountant was all the things that I could offset against tax. You know, all the things you like. Laundry capsules, for example, when you sell clothes, you need to wash them, don't you? So you can offset some laundry capsules and all the stuff for my office that I've just refurbished at home and all that sort of thing that you wouldn't necessarily think about. So that I found that really useful from getting all that sort of information from. Oh, my cat's just come in the cat flat. He meowed as he came in, and I thought he might have. You know, sometimes they meow when they bring a mouse in.
Oh, yes.
I thought he might have a mouse, but he didn't have, so it was all right in the end.
I have to say, we're still not savvy enough about that. I would never even think to offset the laundry liquid.
Andrea, you're missing out on £3 twice a year there that you can offset.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, because Ashley had his own business before, and he was long before me, and he was always keeping receipts for everything. So I think it made me, you know, more aware that I could do that as well. So perhaps I don't know, my new desk, my new lamp, everything.
Yeah, I find if I buy equipment, then like my little printer for the labels that I put on all my items. Now that I have a really proper system in place for storing stuff, it's invaluable, really. But I think just my challenge was making sure that I made some stupid mistakes in the early days with just forgetting about postage, forgetting that it keeps changing, it's ever shifting sands, getting caught out by something that's just over the kilo or just bigger than. You know, so it's a proper planning for that saved me a lot of stress, but that was a bit challenging in the early days and annoying.
Yeah. What about you? Have I asked Kelly already? Have I asked everybody now?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all too much for me, this hosting business. I'm trying to read the chat as well. It's just too much multitasking.
I can't even see the chat.
Peter says, I hope everybody's having a cool day as it was very hot yesterday. I was quite lucky. It was quite not too bad down here in Devon, but I think some of you had ridiculous temperatures, didn't you?
It was awful.
How hot was it there, Heather?
38 degrees. Yeah, and it probably was hotter in places. It was literally a case of I got out of my car to go to a friend's house, and it was like stepping into a hairdryer. It was like, Jesus. And her room was at the top of a house as well. It's
bizarre, isn't it, how it can go from that ridiculous temperature one day to so much cooler today.
It's still quite humid here, I have to say. I would still say it's in the 20s.
Yeah, same here. It's overcast today and it's cooled down a lot, but it's still quite muggy and sticky. Yeah.
It says 19, but I'm quite warm now, so yeah.
It's because you've got your new waistcoat on, Heather.
Indeed. Thank you, Carla. If you're watching in this back, I have the waistcoat. I'm wearing it. I don't really need it in this heat, but it fits me perfectly. So thank you to Natalie Baconface for showing me it fits. I'll take it off now. It's too hot.
We all enjoyed seeing it. Thank you for sharing that.
We do buy off each other. We buy as well as sell on eBay. This is for sure.
Yeah, Shelley bought a poncho from you, Kelly, didn't she, this week?
Yes, yeah.
Really nice, that.
It's very, very eye-catching. Perfect for festivals.
Garish, you mean? That's what you're trying to say. It's garish.
I actually quite like it, but it's not something I'd wear myself, but it was quite nice, actually.
I think she's gone off to which festival with it?
Festival.
Yeah.
I hope you're having a lovely time, Shelley.
Yes, and I hope the girlie gets better.
Oh, yeah. Gary says he made a big loss in his first year of selling, bought an office chair printer, lots of polymailers, padded envelopes, etc.
Yeah.
You have to get kitted out with all the stuff, don't you? Print Me Up asks a question. If there has been one tool that's been a game changer for your eBay business, what would it be? Anybody?
Scales. Good postage scales. Because without those, it could all go horribly wrong.
Yeah. A label printer.
Sorry, Andrew.
A label printer.
Oh, they've nicked both. It's like bingo. They've nicked both my ones I was going to say. My tape. Hang on. My tape dispenser.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
Simple thing, but it saves me so much stress when I'm trying to tape up parcels. And it's a heavy duty one, so it doesn't move when you're trying to pull the tape with one hand.
Do you know, you're so right about that. I've recently moved my packing area to out in the conservatory where I keep all my stock, so all my tape and everything is out there. But occasionally I need to tape something up in the office, and I've got a roll of sellotape somewhere, but it's not on a dispenser. I'm gonna have to buy another one because I can't bear it. I have to find the end and bite it.
It's
God.
a distant memory now, trying to find the end of the sellotape for 10 minutes. But,
yeah, you forget how irritating it is.
Mine's disappeared as well. The universe is obviously having a laugh with us, Caroline, because mine's completely disappeared, and I'm doing exactly the same, ferreting around trying to find the blinking end of the sellotape and getting it caught in my hair, which is not a comfortable experience.
No.
I think my tool probably is a mobile phone, because when I started reselling, there wasn't such a thing as a mobile phone. In fact, there probably wasn't such a thing as a mobile phone. There might have been one of those big Nokia things, but having a mobile phone. And I never take a mobile phone to car boot sales, as I've said on numerous occasions still, because I just don't look things up at car boot sales. I don't know, I'm just a bit, I'd rather rely on but in charity shops I find it endlessly useful now, and I wonder how I ever managed without it. So yeah, mobile phone.
So weird, because I was literally just thinking that. I looked at my phone, I thought, oh, I should have said a mobile phone.
Great minds think alike.
I'm terrible with my mobile phone. Sue phoned me the other day, and then she had to message me on Facebook. Says, have I got the right number? I said, sorry, Sue, my phone's been in my bag for 3 days. It's uncharged. I'm not one of these people that carries the phone around with them all the time. And I like you, Caroline, I very rarely check anything at car boots or anything like that. So I don't really use my mobile phone as a business thing at all, which I should really, but it's not kind of in me, if you know what I mean.
Do you not like the ka-ching though?
No, because there's a delay on mine anyway on my phone. I don't know why. It comes in about 3 hours after I've sold something, so I've already seen it by then.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I've sold something else, and it's not. It's the same thing that sold earlier.
I don't like having the ka-ching, because if you're stood at a counter in a charity shop and you get it, it's a bit embarrassing. Sort of gives away the game.
Yeah, or at a boot sale when you're browsing through someone's stall.
Yeah, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Like, oh no.
Price suddenly goes up. Yeah.
Alex says she has a video coming out soon about resellers buying off other resellers. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a good experience and a bad experience, I think, isn't it, Alex? Not from anybody we know, though, I don't think.
No.
I think the mobile ka-ching, though, when you're at the car boot, it's a good way of spotting other resellers.
Yeah.
Because you hear it and you think, oh yeah, I know what you're up to.
And in charity shops as well, your eyes meet, don't they?
We've got a new reseller on our car boot, and it does me head in a little bit because he's scanning everything. All you see him do is scanning, and I think, oh, come on, you've got to have a little bit about you to know what you're looking for.
Yeah. It was interesting when we were selling the other day, watching a couple of people pick up items and look up stuff on their phone. We were thinking, well, you're not going to make much money on that, that's why it's here.
Yes.
I'd like to buy it anyway.
Yeah, I do think, I know I'm going to sound old and middle-aged now, but I do think that people over-rely on mobile phones. I think you've got to have a bit of gut instinct going on and trust yourself. But if you spend all your time looking at your phone, you're not going to see all the amazing stuff that's all around you, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I use my phone as my camera, as Daisy May has just said. So really, I'd be a bit lost without that, because the fancy camera I had went wrong, and I just thought, oh God, no, stuck to my phone. It's been far easier.
Yeah, I've switched to my phone this year since I got a new phone, Heather, and I really like using it. I can just airdrop my pictures to the computer straight away. I can't believe I haven't done it. Well, I didn't do it sooner, really.
Well, you know, we're always learning. That's the joy of this.
So true. One of the other questions in the topic was, have we ever thought of quitting? Andrea?
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah, there have been times. There have been times where it's been, you know, pretty dire, and we've talked about getting a job. I think when I had that kids' clothes shop, and that was really bad. We thought about what would it be like if we gave it up and got a job, but it always stops us because the thought of actually working for someone else. Yeah, I don't like that.
That shop was so good. I mean, you really put your heart and souls into that shop, and it was lovely. It was such a beautiful shop. It was a real shame that didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably if I'd have really stuck with it and changed up some things and done things differently, could have maybe kept it going. But you get to a point where you're like, no, I just have to decide, you know, enough's enough. But
yeah, I think the thing is with that as well, that if you'd never done it, you'd have always wondered, wouldn't you?
That's true. And we learned loads from it. And, you know, I think everything is for a reason. And you know, things are never particularly a mistake because they lead you on to something else. So,
yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. What about you, Heather? Have you ever thought of quitting?
No. There have been occasional times I've been tempted to have the proverbial bonfire, you know, bonfire of the stock, but it's momentary, it does pass. But, you know, I've got to emphasise, I'm not relying solely on my income to get through life. There's two of us, and he's not a reseller. So that pressure isn't there. And I think that's probably why I haven't. Because, you know, when you've got couples where that is their income, or someone on their own trying to pay the bills, then it's much more frightening. So I've been lucky enough not to have that as a situation.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I've got separate income as well as eBay from rental property, and obviously my husband's got his business as well. So yeah, I think it would be a very different kettle of fish if it was relying on the income from this. But no, I've never regretted going full time at all. Although there have been weeks or days when you have return after return and file customer after. I mean, there's crappy bits in all jobs, isn't there? But I've never seriously thought about giving up. What about you, Kelly?
No, because I don't feel like I've really got started yet. Really got going with it. I mean, and it's something that I love. I've always loved going to car boots and picking bits and bobs up. So no, not definitely. Even if I did get a job, I'd still go to the car boots and still pick things up. So yeah, it's in me. I can't not go to a car boot on a Thursday and a Sunday. I've got to go.
But you have them on during the week. That's amazing. That never happens in my part of the world. That doesn't happen.
You know, I'm so lazy with car boots now. I really don't enjoy getting up and going to car boot sales at all. I've only been to maybe 10 this year.
Shopping, take a breath. I don't go to that many either. I confess I'm not an early morning bird, and it's always a bit of a struggle. When I get there, I love it, but there are some days when that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, my close one closed down probably 2 years ago now, and I'd have to go a bit further, and it all just seems like such a big effort at the weekend. And I don't know why. For years, I went to a car boot sale every Sunday, whether I'd been out the night before, whether I was hungover, every single Sunday, whether it was Christmas or Easter. You know, obviously it wasn't on Christmas Day, but every Sunday for years. I think I just can't do it anymore. I don't know why.
You just had enough of it. Perhaps you just thought, you know what, I'll take a break.
I think that's it. And I was thinking about it when I was on holiday, and I thought, am I going to stop beating myself up about the fact I don't want to go to car boot sales? It's not like I'm short of stock. It's not like I'm, you know, I desperately need to go to car boot sales, so why get cross with myself that I don't want to go? Maybe I've just changed, and that's okay, sort of thing.
If you've got enough stock, and I think that's the thing. I know how fortunate I am that I'm not, she says, looking around at the photography I have to deal with this weekend, because it was too hot to do for the last few days. So tomorrow is my photography day. But, you know, I know that I am never, ever going to run out of stock. It's just never going to happen. The good people of the Southeast don't wear their clothes for very long before they get rid of them. So I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? I'm like charity shops.
See, I only source from car boots.
Do you only source from car boots?
Yeah, it's the only place I source from. I very rarely go to charity. Well, I do when I'm passing. I don't make a point of going to charity shops to source. I just love them. I'm sorry. I know it's sad. It sounds sad.
I loved them for years. I absolutely loved them. I used to get that little thing of excitement as I drove in, thinking, "Oh God, what am I going to find today? It's so exciting."
I mean, I'm that bad that I won't go out on a Saturday night because I've got car boot on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I used to be like, if my friends invited us to go out on a Saturday night, I was like, "Oh, can we do Friday instead?" For years, I was like the party pooper on a Saturday night. But Gary's telling me that the racecourse car boot sale was huge last Sunday. Honestly, don't care.
All the more sellers.
Yeah, I just love that thrill of the hunt when you're at the boot sale. And, yeah, I think jumble sales are my favourite. Jumble sales and jumble trails, but then car boots second, because you know you get bargains and you don't know what you're going to find, and it's just
It's the thrill of the chase. It's the magpie. Feeling like you've got something for nothing, triumph over humanity that just makes it so worthwhile.
Yeah. That was deep.
I didn't get much sleep last night, can you tell?
Gary says, talking of returns, just received back some spoons, sold twice, returned twice. What is your boomerang item? I had something earlier this year. I can't remember what it was, a clothing item, can't remember what it was, but it came back twice and I sent it out a third time and thought, please don't come back again. Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah. Exactly the same thing with the Laura Ashley dress. It went out twice, came back a third time, and I thought, oh no, please don't come back again. And it did, thankfully.
I had an M&S jumpsuit that kept coming back to me, and I think it is just because jumpsuits, how am I going to put this delicately? They just don't look very good on an awful lot of people. They're just not particularly flattering, you know. They're strange. You've got to have the right body length, and everything's got to. Oh dear God, why people wear them? I've no idea. But I had one that came back to me twice, and it's now listed again. It probably won't sell till the autumn because it's a bit more sort of partyish. But I just think, God, if that goes again, I'll just say keep it. I won't want the bloody thing back for a time.
I think it really suits you if you're really slim.
It's just something about the way some people are put together. It works, and for other people, it just doesn't. You know.
I just look like a Teletubby in one.
Yeah, they're always too big here and too short here, and the waist isn't looking nice. Which Teletubby is that? Dipsy, Lala,
yeah,
Pat?
definitely
Sue says she's been completely shoddy with car boot this year. Can't stand the getting up at 5 a.m. anymore. I'm glad it's not just me, Sue. I'm really glad it's not just me.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie's here. Hi, Carrie. She was rooting through the M&S 90% sale. I nearly went this morning, but I didn't in the end. I've still got some of the stuff I bought from last year's M&S 90% sale, so I didn't really need any more. Did you do well? Did you find much good stuff? I don't know why I'm waiting for her to answer. Carrie.
No, we don't have an M&S near us anymore. They've all closed down.
Have they?
Yeah.
We've got an out-of-town one, sort of between where I live and Carrie lives. But we did have one in town, but that's closed.
We've got a food hall one, but it's not clothes. It's just food, because that's presumably where they're making money these days. I just want to say a quick hello to Caroline making lemonade, who's joined us in the chat, and I hope she's doing well because I catch her occasionally, and she's got a busy life, so it's nice to see her.
Oh, hi, Caroline. What's happened to her video? She hasn't made a video for ages.
And Sib's in as well. Hi, Sib.
Oh, Sib,
Hi, Sib.
Hello, Sib.
Long time no see.
That's an interesting question someone's asked here. Just wondering if you all had to give up reselling, what would your ideal job be instead? I don't know. Chocolate tester at Cadbury's?
I'd like to be someone who goes and does reviews of 5-star hotels all over the world.
Oh,
Travel
yeah.
journalist, would that be a travel journalist?
Yeah.
But in the real world, probably something. I'd probably go back to being a PA. I really like that all organisy type stuff, and yeah.
I'd probably write, because I've always wanted to and never really properly found time. So, yeah.
Sorry, what was that? Writing?
Yeah.
You write your blog?
Yeah, when I get time.
Yeah.
I really don't know what I'd do if I wasn't reselling. I don't know. I can't think of anything else that takes me fancy at the minute.
Carrie says wine taster. Now I could get on board with that. That would be.
I could be, you know, food and wine person traveling around to all these amazing restaurants, which is what I love to do if I ever get the chance.
Yeah, restaurant critic.
A bon vivant. Yes, that's definitely my thing. I could be a very old it girl.
I used to say to my nan that she should be a restaurant critic, because she used to go out with a friend every Wednesday, and every time she'd come back, I'd say, "Did you have a nice time?" Meaning a nice day or whatever. But I always got a complete critique about what she'd eaten. And I used to say, "You should write a little column or something for a local paper."
Yeah.
Daisy May wants to be a professional organiser and declutterer, a la Marie Kondo. That was kind of what you were doing yesterday, Heather, wasn't it? We were talking about this.
It was. I was helping a dear friend who has more clothes than I thought was ever humanly possible. But they are beautiful and gorgeous, and she's really not that keen on getting too rid of many. But we have begun the process of her rediscovering what she does have. So hopefully I can lighten her load a little as time goes on. I don't know. It was fun, but it was hard work. I'll say that much.
Tack Doctor's just said he can see me as a country pub landlady.
Yeah. Mine's a pint, please.
Well, there you go then.
I think you'd be good at that.
Well, because we've all had to give up reselling. If you need any staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, minimum wage.
Sorry, I'm just reading Sue's last comment of the pit box on YouTube. Who's that?
Oh, it's a new lady called Donna. I've not seen many of her videos, but Sue quite likes her. I think she sells retro clothing and bits and bobs.
Yeah, I watched her vlog, her last vlog. It was really good, actually. I really enjoyed that.
Look at that.
I'm making a note as we speak. Have a look after we finish talking. That's someone's phone ringing.
Not mine.
Not mine.
I can hear a phone ringing. It must be in here.
My phone's in my bag downstairs.
I bet the battery's run out as well, hasn't it? Just how's everybody's sales this week? It's the first week of the school summer holidays for most people, so generally they're a bit shit, aren't they? So
yes, that's it really. Isn't it?
Now you're all going to tell me you've had a fantastic week.
I'm going to tell you it's been really good. 12% up on last year, so I'm feeling quite happy about that. Yeah, I've had some really good sales.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well done. That's great.
Tumbleweed here.
Yeah, last 2 weeks I may have been absolutely rubbish. Really bad.
Last week was really bad for me, but I hadn't listed for 2 weeks. So that was the second week of my holiday last week. But this week's been all right in terms of the sales. It's been slow in terms of numbers. I've only had a couple of sales each day, but they've been quite decent sales. So it's not as bad as it could be. But certainly today's payday is a bit of a washout so far.
Maybe it was too hot and nobody got paid.
Maybe they're spending it all on paddling pools and fans.
Beer and ice cream, that'll be what it is.
Yeah. Oh, Caroline's planning to do a video later today. Caroline, sorry, is planning to do a video later today. I'm pleased about that. I haven't seen your videos for ages.
Lovely. We like your videos, Caroline.
Several people have asked more about your writing, Andrea. What sort of writing would you like to do? And someone else said they'd like to hear more about it.
Yeah, fiction. I don't know. I did write more of a sort of autobiographical type book a while back, but it's a bit, yeah, it was a bit too personal, so it's in a drawer now. Probably, I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. But yeah, I'd love to write fiction. The amount of notebooks I've written down ideas and I've started stuff and over the years. But I used to write a lot of poetry as well. I did send it off to a publisher once. They said, we'll publish it, but you have to pay for it. And I was like, I don't have any money to pay for it. So.
Dear.
A friend of mine wrote a book, a fiction book, and self-published it through Amazon. I think there's a way, I don't know how she went about it. I think it was quite complicated, but that's an option these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can do a lot yourself these days, can't you?
Yeah, I've got friends who write ebooks on stuff as well, but they tend to be sort of fairly niche subjects that perhaps not everybody is going to want to know about. But you know, if it is something that's got a broad range, you need to be published and really out there.
Yeah.
I think Simon Mitchell said he published his own book, didn't he? So
Yeah.
he might be able to give you some pointers, Andrea.
Yeah.
About getting published.
But I just don't know if I'll ever. I barely get enough time to do all the reselling stuff I need to do. So.
Time is such a short commodity, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the things I want to do, and I'm never ever going to have enough time in one lifetime to do them. It's quite depressing if you think about it.
It just makes you get a move on and get cracking.
Well, I don't know if you watched my video from this week. I was talking about how I've decided to do 4 days a week on eBay and 1 day on YouTube because I really want to do more with my YouTube channel than I have been able to with the amount of time I've been putting into it this year. And this is my first week of doing it, and I've tried to do as much eBay as I do normally, but force it into 4 days, and that's kind of not really worked.
No, that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's something you want to do, then it is difficult to sort of shift the balance around and.
Yeah. I know there'll be lots of people saying, well, you have to make time for it. And yes, that is true, you do. But also I'd like to spend more time making YouTube videos, more time writing the blog. So I don't know.
But then something else has to give. You can't keep everything else up in the air.
And at the same time, we need to, clean the house and cook food and
and go shopping and all the other.
And I can see friends and family. So yeah, there aren't enough hours in the day.
There just really aren't. It's quite hard I find it hard to prioritise what I want to do over what I should do. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't have any wisdom on that at all. That's just, yeah.
I just don't do what I don't want to do. It's like, nah, that's not me.
If I did that, nobody would ever have any clean clothes or any dinner.
That has happened on occasion. That has been known to happen. And then I'm like, because I'm the only female in the house, that does not make me solely responsible for your well-being.
You're expected to, though.
That's changing. They're both old enough and ugly enough to start looking after themselves.
Certainly, I have to say that mine are pretty good at cooking. Ashley and William will both cook if I ask them to. They won't actually think of it off their own bat generally, but if I say, can you sort dinner out tonight, they will both do it. But laundry, nobody will ever do that. They don't even know where the washing machine is.
I do think as a mum and a woman, you are people do have expectations of you to do certain things, don't they? But yeah, it's about putting them boundaries in there and saying, well, look, you're old enough now to put your own washing in the washer and try and get it. And once they run out of clean pants and socks, then they start to take notice.
Yeah, I have to say Ellen does her own washing.
Yeah,
good.
Not many cleaning, but I'm thinking over the summer I'm going to start giving her a bit of that. But yeah, she does do her own washing. She's done that for a while.
Yeah,
they're coming up with an idea of what to cook every night to feed the family. It does my head in. It really, really does. Something so simple as just please give me an idea of what you want to eat.
Oh, it's
So,
important.
so I'll cook it, but give me the idea, so I haven't got constantly thinking about other things as well as what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, and always looking for something that's quick and easy as well, but also nutritious, not just, you know, oven food.
Yeah, yeah, it is difficult, and it is true. I think if one person doesn't take charge of it somewhere along the line, no one's going to be eating. But there is a point at which you say, I am so bored with apparently running the whole catering side of this operation. Can someone else please take a part?
Yeah.
Sid wants to know if Ellen's at college now, Andrea.
She's about to go into her last year of sixth form, and we're looking at universities and what she does next. So,
Exciting times.
yeah. Yes.
Does she know what course she wants to do?
She wants, her first choice is the Contemporary Dance School in London.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How do you feel about her leaving home?
Excited and terrified in equal measures.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Not excited for me that she's leaving, excited for her that she's, you know, starting her life and doing things that she wants to do. But, yeah.
You've got all this to come, Heather.
Oh, yeah, well, I've got a few years yet. We're only just about to go into year 8. But yeah.
It will come sooner than you think.
Well, we measured him the other day because his knees were hurting because he's grown. And it turns out he's about 5'7" now, and he's still 12. So it's like, holy cow, you know. He's going to be bigger than me by this time next year. Well, a lot bigger.
If I ever meet him, I'll be like, hi, Alex.
Yeah, you will. Most people are now. It's like, oh, okay. It's hilarious. He's like a big puppy.
I'm looking at the last part of the question. Don't know if you were going to get round to it, Caroline.
I'm sorry.
No, I just thought, do we want to just discuss that in the last 5 minutes, or?
Yeah.
So the last part was who and what inspired you, and what were people doing before?
Well,
Who wants to start? Caroline. What were you doing before, and what inspired you to start reselling?
what was I doing before? I do mostly office work. I've always done office work. I worked on cruise ships for 5 years in my sort of early 20s. Then I came back, did office work. I was a recruitment consultant for a little while. I was a PA. That was probably PA, various different secretarial type PA roles. And then my last job was working part-time at a local school before I became a reseller. And as for what inspired me, or who inspired me to go full-time, I guess you'd have to say it was that Nick Hills person.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
It's all his fault.
Yeah. So, Kelly, what were you doing before?
My last full-time job before I became self-employed as a reseller was running a Slimming World franchise.
Okay.
Yeah, so I worked for Slimming World for, I think it was 6 years.
So what inspired?
Yeah, so you wouldn't think so. You wouldn't think so looking at my chins now, but I used to be nice and slim.
Were they good to work for?
There was a fantastic company to work for, actually. Yeah, I would recommend it to anybody. Really, really good company to work for. Really looks after you, after the consultants, and keep you up to date with free training and all that sort of thing. We'd say you're a franchise, you just paid your initial franchise fee, and then all the training and update every year and that sort of thing was all free.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah.
So why then you gave that up and went into full time?
I gave that up because I lost my dad and my granddad in a close period of time, and it affected me, and I lost my empathy for my members coming in moaning that they put £2 on because such and such had happened, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I'd lost that, and I made the split decision to leave. I wish I hadn't left it, a couple of months down the line. I wish I just took a break, but I thought I've had enough of this. I'm going. So they didn't want me to go, and I actually joined Slimming World this Tuesday with my old team manager, who was a consultant. The first thing she said to me is, "Come back, join us, Kelly." So the door's always open for me to go back to that once I've lost the weight, if I wanted to, because I enjoyed it. but it was just a hard time happened in my life, and I decided to pack it up. So yeah.
I always imagine that's quite a good job in terms of being able to help people do something that's really quite important to them and see their journey, to use a very well used word.
Yeah, it was great fun. Like I say, nice to help people turn their lives around, really, in some cases, so people coming off diabetic medication and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it was fantastic in that way. And yeah, like I say, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So do you think that's something that you would consider doing, that and reselling part-time or in the future?
It's a lot involved behind the scenes. It's not just a case of turning up to the group and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the online midweek support and all that thing takes a lot of time up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could do both.
Okay.
Yeah. Or even if I would again, maybe that chapter of my life's closed. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Nice to have
yeah, but I enjoyed it while I was doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrea, I think I'm breaking up.
To have something to fall back on, you know, if you needed.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Heather?
Well, I've had many jobs and many careers and many things that I've done, because I have a very, very low boredom threshold, and it's gotten me into a lot of trouble over the years. However, I was a hypnotherapist for about 20 years, sort of sometimes more part-time and full-time at various occasions, and I loved that. But there just comes a point when I wanted to, you've either got to give it your all and do a lot of it, and it's incredibly intense work. If you want to grow it, you've got to have your clinic and you've got to work up in London, you've got to make it. And I didn't want to do that. So, and I just found that reselling was a lot more straightforward, to be honest, and just appealed to a different side of me, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So, but if I ever had to go back to anything, it probably would be hypnotherapy, because I do like, it's that, again, it's that same as Kelly was experiencing. It's that helping people to make changes in their life, because once you realise it, anything's possible, really. So, and it takes all the fear out of things.
Can I just say, Tap Doctor says he's on his Star Week. Anyone's been to Slimming World groups will know what that means.
I know what it means.
Sorry. It sounds good. Whatever it is, it sounds good.
Not good at all.
Wasn't it? Oh, whoops. I thought that meant like gold star for doing well.
No.
Sorry, chat.
I don't know why it's called that.
Oh, is that like get your ass in gear? It's not
I can tell you why it's called that, if you like.
Come on.
Quickly. When we used to use the paper sheets, because now it's all PDA, is it?
PDFs.
PDFs. Yeah, you used to have your sheets, didn't you? And when it was that time of the month, they'd put a star on your sheet.
Oh.
That's why it's called Star Week.
Okay.
Learn something new every day.
I am educated. I have been educated.
Right, well, I guess that's it then for this week. Do we know whose channel will be?
Really quick.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, Caroline.
Thank you. I was a bit nervous.
I don't know if I'll be able to do it. If I can get my tech sorted out, I will happily host any time. But until I stop making such horrific mistakes, I best not.
It's going to be even more complicated, because it's the next week that Hangouts goes, isn't it? So I don't know how we're going to do multiple people broadcasting.
We haven't even tried to play with that yet. Figure out what we're going to do.
Glad I did mine this week. It won't be me trying to figure it out next week.
I can't even do it with Google Hangouts being on. So yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you very much for chatting, ladies. It's been very nice. And everybody have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Caroline.